What I'm looking for in a bank is one that's looking out for me, like NBT. I want a relationship and a team that supports me in my dreams. And when life gets challenging, I need a bank that's focused on what matters. Not to mention one that's been top-rated by Forbes in trust, customer service, financial advice, and more. That's why when it comes to meeting my banking needs, it's always NBT. Learn more at nbtbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome and thanks for tuning in. This is Tom Hickey from 2020 Media, and you are listening to MBT Bank's On the Scene podcast. Reach over 250,000 readers of the Jewish Ledger, West Hartford Magazine, and WeHa.com live 24/7, 365. Thank you for joining us, and remember to support as much as possible our guests, who we'll introduce in a moment, and our presenting sponsor, MBT Bank. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Bob Carr, who is the managing partner of WeHa.com. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Tom. So Tom Hickey, to give a little background here, Tom, along with myself, Kosik Makati, and Ronnie Newton is a founder and partner in WeHa.com. Through 2020 Media, Tom's company brings to West Hartford Magazine, as he said, Connecticut Jewish Ledger, the best of West Hartford, which is coming up on its 10th year, plus numerous fun events throughout the year. Our podcast is assembled and hosted by the Modern Observer Group, and our guests today are Kalita and Rudisir Polonetto. Did I say that correctly?
No,
it's actually
Filemon.
Filemon. Sorry about that.
No worries. Rudisir's her father, so
it's my dad. It's because of the last name.
As much as my memory worked, it had the wrong names. So thank you for being here. We're with WeHa Cleaning Services, and we're doing something a little different today for our podcast, which is that we're gonna have a couple of segments. So today we're gonna start off, which is where it's getting to be springtime. We're gonna start off with some tips for spring cleaning. So what do you guys find are the challenges for spring cleaning that most people have, and the cluttering aspect of that?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think the challenge is definitely time, right? Nobody has time anymore to actually spend cleaning and organizing and decluttering things. So definitely time, I think it's the biggest challenge. And also, creating a plan for that decluttering, because it takes time, right? I mean, everybody has big homes, and over the years, you start acquiring things. And when you least notice, you have a garage full of things that you don't use, right? So it's very important to also organize yourself and create a list, create a plan, a strategy plan for you to tackle those things. I think that's what's like the main thing.
I believe that the most difficult aspect is just where to start, especially in the springtime, because I think winter we all hibernate, right? So we kind of just stay in the winter zone, the winter blues. We're out doing stuff, we're out skiing and snowboarding, doing the
or just hiding, right?
Or just hibernating and just having all that pollen build up. So it's always good to start with a list. Have a list, as Kalita said, have a list of where you're going to tackle first, what rooms you're going to do step by step, and then just work through that list, right? And then the second step would probably be to start decluttering. Start focusing on decluttering some of the bigger items, move it out, get underneath, really deep clean, and take those start preparing yourself for the summer, the springtime coming first, and then the summer coming.
And the beauty about decluttering too is the fact that, spring usually, as I like to say, it's a very special time of year, right? Things are being reborn. It's summer again. You're getting that excitement of like, oh my gosh, we have sunlight and we get to go outside again. So I think it's important for you to kind of get yourself organized, create that checklist, and also make time for it, right? Because what happens is spring is here. All you want to do is be outside rather than be inside, right? You spend all year inside. All you want to do now is just be out and enjoying the time. So that's what I would say, creating a strategy, creating a decluttering plan. Also, like, you can donate all these things. There's so many places you can donate to, like Salvation Army, Goodwill. So it is also a beneficial thing while you're doing that. And then obviously doing a deep clean, right? Maybe either hiring a company or doing it yourself, but really doing a deep clean where you're going through everything like ceiling fans, cabinets, baseboards, washing your windows, glass surfaces, things that you normally wouldn't clean. I would recommend people just to look into those things that you normally wouldn't.
I have to tell you, and I'll make fun of myself, but I'm the 6'4" guy, so I'm always cleaning the tall stuff for Siobhan in our house. But the one thing that I've never, ever, ever, ever really thought about at all with spring cleaning, yes, cleaning, clean, but not decluttering. I've never really thought about getting rid of stuff. I mean, the whole bit, and it's such a great time, if you not only move it out of the way, just move it out. Just get rid of it.
Completely.
So when you guys go into someone's home that, so they're hiring you, they're here to actually, because we want to promote your business, as opposed to having to do it themselves. What are the things that you see that are most missed or most forgotten to clean when you go into someone's home?
Definitely, the upper surfaces, like Tom was saying. Most people don't have like a 6-foot person for their home. They're not 6'4".
Tom.
Yeah, right.
Definitely, I would say the higher surfaces
on top of the refrigerators,
yeah,
ceiling fans, the lower ones, of course.
Top of cabinets, like when you cook a lot, it gets pretty greasy. All that gunk can pretty much stay stuck in there. So definitely, like I would say higher surfaces, and then obviously the lower surfaces, which would be under your couch,
behind furniture, like your TV stand. When is the last time you moved your TV stand, right? Yeah. So it's like you want to get behind those things and really get all those things that have been lingering there for the whole winter, maybe summer, maybe spring of last year. You want to really get back behind all those crevices and nooks and crannies, and really you want to get behind the stove, like on the side of the stoves, things like those, when you're doing that initial deep clean.
Yeah, so definitely higher services and the lower ones, and in between's the ones that you normally wouldn't get to in a regular cleaning.
And how does it work? Is that where you're going with it, Bob? Like, does someone call you only to do spring cleaning, or do they have to contract with you to do cleaning all the time, or how does that work?
No, so we're pretty flexible as a company. So we have people who will do monthly, people who will do bi-weekly, people who do weekly, people who do it twice a week. It really depends on your needs. Normally, what I recommend for people to have sanity, to have a good balance in their life, is usually bi-weekly, because that way it gives you enough time to get your house really dirty and enough time for us to clean, and then vice versa. And you're just in that pattern where it's clean, but at the same time you're still having the time to get it, dirty.
But I think what Bob was asking is, we will do a deep clean as a first initial cleaning. So we'll come into your house, we'll do that big deep cleaning. That's usually more labor intensive, so we're there for longer times. And really getting in between all those nooks and crannies, wiping the cabinets, getting on top of the fridge, doing the lower ceiling fans, really getting into like the vents that people don't look at, cleaning the microwave vents, things that just you're building up and you don't really pay attention to. So we do tackle that on the first cleans.
And I would say that's our deep deluxe cleaning right now. That's the package that we would offer. And we usually recommend that to people who are coming into our company for the first time. So if you are a first time person, you want to get that cleaning, we offer other services as well, general services, like just a regular clean. But we always try to influence people to go into the deep deluxe, just because you get that fresh cleanness, and then it's also easier for us to keep up with it after, right? So it's easier on you and it's easier on us, and that way we both win.
And that's
if we've done a good job of convincing people to do a nice deep clean for spring cleaning, here's your commercial. How do they call you? Do they go to your website? How do they reach out to you guys?
Our website for sure. So www.wehaclean.com. Very easy, very easy. And we do take, obviously you can call us too, but we do take online quotes. You can just fill up a form. We'll get all your information and we'll send you a quote within the next few hours or so. And that way we'll get to know a little bit more about you. And if you have any questions, you can always call us. We have an awesome staff that will answer any questions, help you, guide you, and lead you in the right direction.
And is there any certain geographic area that we should, if someone, we have listeners who are all over, New England and New York. So is there a distance, or does that not matter until they fill out your form?
We were mostly local, so we are called West Hartford Cleaning Service, but we do go for a lot of parts in Connecticut, so we do go, I think, mostly in the Hartford County right now. That's where we're tackling. But depends. I mean, if you're in New York, give us a call. Who knows?
All right, that sounds good. All right,
so we'll clean up this. We'll do this. This is a clean up. This is our segment one.
Pun intended.
Say, take 15 seconds, and we will come back in a few.
Where will you find West Hartford's best and most comprehensive business news? At WeHa.com. Subscribe to the WeHa.com newsletter Business Buzz for free every Monday at WeHa.com. Log on to we-ha.com. We have it all in West Hartford.
And we are back. So again, let's reintroduce our guests, Kalita and Filemon. Got it right this time. From WeHa Cleaning. Thank you for being our guest today. So we did a quick chat about spring cleaning. One of the things that is near and dear to my heart is allergens. Having had allergies since I was diagnosed when I was 3 years old, so about 1960 when I was diagnosed, and then we had asthma on top of that. So keeping allergens out of your house is something that's very important. I'd like to have you guys just kind of discuss it as an overview, and we'll get a deep dive into it. What's your concerns?
Yeah, no. So definitely, again, we're all about strategic planning here. That's what I always recommend people, and for everything that you do. And unfortunately, allergy proofing is one of them, right? You have to strategically tackle what's in preventing them from happening. So one thing for sure is definitely during especially the spring season is maintaining your windows closed because you are going to be attracting all that pollen inside, all those things that could cause you to virtually really make your air quality not as good. So keeping your windows clean, and obviously trying to have maybe more frequent cleanings done inside your house. So dusting more often than you normally would. Using a humidifier also helps a lot. One thing too that we in our company we make sure of is that all our vacuums will have HEPA filters. So every time we're vacuuming, we're making sure that the air being released back into the home is being filtered. So that's very important. So obviously, making sure you have like a good filtering system for your vacuum that you currently own or you're using would be very beneficial for that.
Yeah, your allergies will definitely kick up if you're not using a HEPA filter on a vacuum, because you're just circulating that up into the air, and then once it goes up into the air, it's going all over your stuff. Then you're touching on top of your counters, your TV remotes, and then that's not going to be a good day for you, Bob, since you have allergens. But yeah, you want to do things
bringing in. They're not using your vacuum. They're bringing in your own materials because of that reason, because it has what's it called, a HEPA?
Exactly. So
HEPA, yeah.
Yeah, we usually recommend us bringing our own items just because we've tested them. We know that they're good. They're not going to cause anything in your home. But if you have a vacuum that you prefer using, we're totally fine with that, because sometimes people will have allergies and stuff like that, so they prefer to use their own vacuum or something. Okay. And we're totally fine.
But we always recommend buying a vacuum with a HEPA filter, right? Most
you learn something new every day. I just learned that, so there you go.
Most vacuums in the mid-range, like $300 and up, usually have a HEPA filter in it, just so you know. Fun fact.
Yeah.
But you can get them as low as like $150 around there. So I always recommend it. And then also, like what Kalita was saying, you want to prevent allergens first, right? So keeping your windows closed. If you don't have one of those glass screen doors, that's a great investment, especially for you, Bob, if you have like severe allergens. You want to avoid outside as much as you can in the springtime, because that's where it's going to really attack you. And then other stuff, like you can get a mattress cover for your mattress. So like that will keep from the pollen like really sinking into your mattress. Changing out your pillowcases that like daily almost, that's going to help you a lot.
Washing your floors also, that's one thing that I think gets kind of missed. The more you wash your floors, and you also dust regularly with a damp cloth. It's also very helpful because you're really picking up that dust versus just kind of spreading it around with like a duster or, you know, some type of rag that's not wet, you know, so that's something that helps as well.
So on carpeting. So we had a house when one of the first houses we bought in Connecticut, it was carpeted completely. We eventually got rid of all of it except for one room, which was a basement room, a lower room. So, you know, how do you deep clean carpeting, which is really an allergen, like it just, you know, holds those allergens, right?
It really is.
Yeah, first thing is get rid of the carpet if you have bad allergies.
For sure.
But if you don't have that, HEPA filters, then it's going to be the best way to do it. Vacuum with a HEPA filter.
Yeah, vacuuming as often as possible.
Thank God we don't have a carpet sponsor, right, Bob? There we go.
We don't do carpets, but hey, we get enough interest, we might.
You want to vacuum it constantly. That's pretty much the best way to avoid minimum of once a week. But like if it's prime time season, like spring is all the trees are coming back to life and all that, you want to do it at least every 2 to 3 days, because when you see that yellow fuzz all over your car in the beautiful springtime, that means that's in your carpet as well. That's coming in when you're opening that door. So like you open that door, you close it as fast as possible, because that's all going into your house without you seeing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know,
So
I
you
have
want
to
to
say again, I probably because I've never suffered from allergies. I've been spoiled that way. I've never thought about all these things, but that's, I'm Bob, you'll never come see me, but I'm one of those crazy people who, I open up all the windows and, all there. And then of course my wife complains because there's pollen all over the, countertops, a little bit, but I do love, fresh air coming in. But I hear you. What you're saying is whatever's out there is coming in, to your house. And then when you go to put your head down on your pillow at night, you're breathing all that in. Yeah. So
yeah. Especially if you have pets, right? Pets are coming in and out all day long, and they're bringing in those things inside. So that's another thing. Also, giving your pets, taking them to be groomed more often, giving them a bath more often will also help from keeping those allergens from coming in.
Yeah, that's my next question. It was about pets, but yeah. So overall, we don't have any pets anymore, which is fine.
Check.
We have
no carpet, no pets.
Very few carpets, so which is good here. All hardwood floors. Some throw rugs or whatever. But it's important for people to recognize where their allergy symptoms are coming from. And I think that oftentimes there's not enough, there's too much emphasis on medications and not enough emphasis on prevention, which is what you're talking about. So I truly appreciate that information.
And I'll tell you, probably, and I'm sure it's because I have not been a sufferer, if that's a word, of allergies. But, I've never heard a cleaning company specifically talk about allergies. So that's why I think this is so refreshing and so important for our readers, because there are so many people who suffer from it. I mean, I remember one of the things people kept saying during the pandemic, was, wearing the mask helped their allergies, in a little bit. So if you think of it, that's
actually a good point, Tom. So like if you have bad allergies like Bob does, wear an N95 mask when you're dusting. That's going to help tremendously so that you're not breathing in all those pollen residue. On top of like the picture frames, on top of ceiling fans, on top of countertops, on top of the ledges of cabinets, that's where pollen likes to sit on. So that's usually where your hands go. You want to avoid those things. But using an N95 mask to dust in between your cleanings before we can get out there and clean your house is always a good technique as well. I just wanted to mention it because I saw Bob's picture frame over there, and I was like, well, if you want to like wipe off the pollen there, you want to make sure you wear that mask.
That's great.
It's probably a silly question. Are there specific, and maybe Bob, you would even know, are there specific things because you have allergies that you have to use for cleaning solutions, or does it not matter? Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, it depends, I think, if how bad your allergies are. We do suggest certain houses like that we know that, are more, fragile to that, we will usually recommend using green products instead of some harsher products, just because of the chemicals and the smells.
Okay.
We are kind of more
Maybe
of like
fragrance-free
yeah,
stuff.
we are more of a pH neutral kind of company. So we try to go with less chemically smell. Like no one really likes chemical smells,
Yeah.
to be honest, right? So we already go with like the pH neutral. So always look for a pH neutral cleaning supply. Nowadays, there's eco degreasers that will take a pound of grime off of your grill and you can drink it. Like it's kind of absurd. I don't know how that works.
Don't drink it.
But there are products out there that do those things, and you want to go with always something that's pH neutral. That's not going to affect anybody.
We tend to clean with vinegar and baking soda more often than not.
Yes, that's a great way to go. Yeah.
Just be careful with vinegar on hardwood floorings, as you mentioned.
Yeah, no, we don't do it on hardwood floors.
Yes.
Yeah, but like
some people like to do that. It's just a little dangerous. It can destroy your flooring. So.
Yeah, we're very picky about our vinegar. We like to use it in certain areas, but not the floors. And I know it's a very common thing that people love on the floors, but believe it or not, it's actually not good for your hardwood.
I get my Murphy's oil soap stuff out, and I use that. That's my floor cleaning product. The other thing I was going to ask you about, and this is so you talk about filters, HEPA filters, and then in whole houses, like we have central air and central, obviously heat. We have central air, and so we use a HEPA filter as well on our systems here. Do you have any recommendations on changing that? Do you guys look at that when you go into someone's home, or is it something you kind of leave alone? Because when they get nasty, they basically no air's flowing, and then you also can be circulating material incorrectly.
Yes, no, we always recommend to change those out monthly whenever springtime comes out. And I know it seems a little bit overkill, but it really depends on how comfortable you want to be. Do you want to be tearing up the whole springtime? Do you want to like really be suffering? Or, I mean, a filter I think costs like $12. We recommend to do it every month. If you're really bad, like twice a month. It really is the comfort level you want. You want to avoid situations where you're allowing that pollen to really keep circulating. Because I mean, if it's all over your filter, it's going to be going a little bit through your air conditioning system, and now you're spreading it all over your house everywhere. So you want to do those things to prevent it. That's where we go back to prevention, right? Preparing yourself to have a successful spring and avoid those allergens is always going to be better, so we can take those layers off and just really enjoy that like outdoors. Something I'm not really 100% sure if this works, but someone always gave me the local honey concept. So you have like a tablespoon of local honey, and that helps regulate the pollen, I guess, or something. Yep. But it always works really well for me because I also have very bad allergens when springtime comes. So local honey always works really well.
But usually, like, your standard fiberglass filters, we recommend like 30 days. And then if you're doing something like, if you have a home with pets and you have really high allergies, and normally, like Phil was saying, monthly until you're out of the season, and then you can go back to 60 to 3 months depending on that.
All right. So if people need help cleaning out their homes of their allergies, or just making sure that they have something as common, which I didn't know about, HEP filters, how do they reach you guys and reach out to you guys, and how do they contact you?
Yeah, so they can reach us at 860-325-3825, or they can go to WeHaClean.com. So WeHaClean.com. And then they can also fill out an online form there, a request form, and we can get back to them within usually a couple hours. If it's the weekend, we'll get back to them on Monday. But again, we're in this fight together against springtime because it is an ongoing thing. The pollen will get there when we're not there, but we're there for you when you need it to help battle that, right?
All right, I like it. On that note, we're gonna end it because we're in this fight together. So
yes, we are.
We're gonna get rid of allergens in everyone's homes who's listening. So again, this is Tom Hickey from 2020 Media. You have been listening, or you're tuned in to On the Scenes podcast, which is presented by MBT Bank. Across all of our platforms, you can reach 250,000 readers on Jewish Ledger, West Hartford Magazine, and WeHa.com 24/7, 365. So not only do we want you to support our sponsor, MBT Bank, but we want everyone to reach out to Kalita and Phil at WeHaClean.com and hook up with them to take care of anything for the springtime, anything for your allergies to get you ready for summer of this year. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time on The Scene.
What I'm looking for in a bank is one that's looking out for me, like NBT. I want a relationship and a team that supports me in my dreams. And when life gets challenging, I need a bank that's focused on what matters. Not to mention one that's been top rated by Forbes in trust, customer service, financial advice, and more. That's why when it comes to meeting my banking needs, it's always NBT. Learn more at nbtbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.